You know, so I was watching Morgan Turner's video on Celestial Odyssey, the Pat McGrath palette, and I was like, oh my God, she's only 45 minutes away. How did she get her so fast? Because we're in the same state, and Pat McGrath, I think, ships out of New York. And why don't I have a shipping confirmation? And I've been checking. Okay. I can't. Just making sure nobody's outside. It just showed up. All right, y'all. So here is some palette surgery that I did not plan on doing today. So I did just get my Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey palette, but as you can see, Citrine Envy, I think it's Citrine. It is, yeah. I don't know if it's because it came in this big box or what, but, or probably the person just threw it on the step for real. So here's my plan, because I am going to be filming with this palette, and hopefully I'll get a replacement. So my plan is to take my handy dandy magnet that my dad left at the house, and then I'm going to hopefully take this pan out. This is all of its magnetic. And then dump all of this out. And then hopefully I will have enough for a look. It's not hopefully about it. But I just need to clean up the rest of the palette so that it doesn't mess up the remainder of the shades. So let's see. Okay, so problem number one is that the pan is not coming out. That's okay. Because what we're going to do is we're still going to dump this all out. Lord have mercy. This was not my plan. Oh my God. I don't even know if I can do this with the phone in my hand. I'll be back momentarily because this is just a hot mess. Oh, but I got enough for a look though. That's enough right there. All right, y'all. So there goes my Euphoria. I have totally scraped out, what is this? The Citrine shade, and I've cleaned it up. So we are workable, y'all. We are workable. Now, here is the shade. Now, I can't film myself pouring it in because, you know, I don't want to make more of a mess. And we'll see how much of the shade that can be salvaged, y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I know it's expensive makeup, but I can't be getting mad. Like, it is just makeup, and I'm sure customer service is going to respond. So, let's get this shade back in the pan. So this is really exciting because I thought I didn't have a lot of the shade, but I actually do. Like, I was able to salvage most of it. So now what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna be pressing it in with a paper towel. Hey you guys, so I was editing this video to go up yesterday, and I got the news about Mel, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to just talk about her a little bit, because I do mention her from time to time in videos, but I don't think I've ever really gave her flowers as far as I'm concerned. It's just funny how people that you don't know just become a regular part of your life. And when I first started watching YouTube, she is the very first beauty YouTuber that I got hooked on. And because of her, I learned about Pat McGrath. When I started researching about Pat McGrath, tons of her videos are there, like her rankings and just her tutorials. And from her channel, I found Morgan Turner, I found Kinky Sweat, I found Kelsey Brianna J. I found so many people that I watch currently. I think that she was so artistically talented. Her style, just the way that she put her eyeshadow on. I learned so much from her. I didn't know who Wayne Goss was. I didn't know the difference between brushes. I remember her, mentioning each brush before she put the makeup on, and I'm like, what's rougher? I don't know. I mean, I learned about so many brands and just eyeshadow techniques. Sydney Grace, that's another brand, and I adore that brand. I don't really know what to say about it. It's really heartbreaking. I know none of us are strangers to losing people, and it just seems to be happening more and more frequently, and the sudden losses are just so devastating. You know, that's something that I dealt with, you know, losing Mark, you know, and thinking about the boys not having their dad and things like that. And, you know, I think about her kids, her husband, and her friends. And she had such a strong impact on the beauty community just as a whole. She seemed to be a very giving and caring person. I hope that she had some idea of her impact. You know, all the posts that I've seen, it's like, we lost our queen, you know, we lost, you know, just somebody that was goals, you know, goals in this community. I wish I had like comforting words and things like that. And it's hard. It's hard to have comforting words. It's hard to understand when something like this happens. You try to think about like the reasoning or the purpose behind it. And, you know, I can't find any. I don't really talk about religion or anything like this on my channel or anything like that. You know, I believe in God. I don't consider myself to be religious, but there is one thing that someone told me that was a Bible scripture, and it talked about like not leaning on your own understanding. And I always think about that because I don't know if I have the capability or the capacity to understand when things like this happen, when I see like the coronavirus just taking lives and taking and just the horrible things that happen, you know, in our world. I don't think I have the capacity to understand it. And so when it says to like that you can't lean on your own understanding, that's the only thing that can get me through. Like, because there has to be more than what we could ever imagine after this life. Like, I just have to believe that. I can't believe that kids will grow up without a mom or dad, or, you know, just the terrible things that happen. I just can't believe that it's going to be permanent. And I don't know if that helps anybody, but that's just what I say when things like this happen. I'm really tongue-tied about it. Her videos were in my rotation, you know, so just to think that there aren't going to be any more. I just watched the one she did with the new Wayne Goss palette because I'm trying to convince myself that's not something I need, you know, but she could make you want anything. I just wanted to share how much of an inspiration that she has been for me. I'm thankful that she was able to do what she loved, because I think it really impacted a lot of people. Wherever she is, that she's resting easy, and that, you know, whatever was going on, that she's not struggling through that anymore. And she has left such a legacy, I think, on the beauty community. She has left such an impact. And I'm thankful that we'll have her videos, you know. I know a lot of people are posting things, and you could just see how loved she was, even by those who didn't even know her. And so, again, my prayers are like, and thoughts are definitely with her husband and her 4 kids and her friends. I know her and Kelsey Brianna J were super close. And, you know, and I'm sure she was close to a lot of people, but I think we all felt close to her, you know. So I just wanted to say that, you guys. We'll get back to the video. Just received an email from Pat McGrath, and they apologized about the palette arriving damaged. They're gonna send me a new one, so I'm really excited about that, and that I'll have the palette with my citrine. But I did save most of that shade, so it's not like that shade is lacking in any way. But you know, I'll be happy, hopefully, fingers crossed, to open up. You know, when you open up a brand new palette, it just feels so good. You know, when you just see it, it's like in pristine condition. And like when you get it and it's not like that, it's like, but wait, you know. So, by the way, this is Tiny Marvels. Tiny Marvels I think I have said this on my channel. I don't think I did the tag if I could only keep 10. This would be one of them. But I do think I included this palette in one of the most unique, the Tiny Marvels. Hold on, let me grab it. I know y'all seen it, but pretend you haven't seen it. Actually, don't pretend you haven't seen it. Let's just bask in the glory of Tiny Marvels for a quick second. I mean, can we talk about the job that Mel Thompson did on this palette? Can we talk about, let me see what time it is. 7:57. Can we talk about the artwork? This palette embodied her to a T. You know what I mean? Like, you see palettes that people do and you'll be like, I don't know how they got that. Or, inside doesn't match the inspo. Say no. But this really embodied her. And this was my first experience with Sydney Grace. I mean, can we... Hold on. I'm sorry, and I know this is about Celestial Odyssey, but we gotta give the flowers now. I mean, when she came out with the video talking about this palette and the inspiration and, you know, her tattoos, all the plants, the flowers, the critters, all of that, I think Tiny Marvels was such a perfect name. And I know that when I first saw this palette, I was like, my eyeshadow taste was a bit different. You know, I was thinking I was trying to do some bright, colorful stuff. And I was like, this is kind of like, but I love this palette so dearly. There are just some gems in this palette, you guys. The names, the shade names they're just so cute, like Fire Butts and Bugaboo and Meadowhawk. It is an awesome palette. Love Fire Butts. I love this. Mantis. In this look, I used a bunch of shades. I used Love Bug. I used Flutterby. In the transition, I used a little Fire Butts and a little web for my little brow bone hoint. I used Meadowhawk and I topped that with Scarab for the lid. And then I used Mantis, of course, in the inner corner. Like, how could I not use Mantis for this look? And then I used Death Moth on my lower lash line. I love this look so much, y'all. Like, it is just, amazing, amazing. And, you know, you just wonder, like, what else would she have come up with? Like, what else was out there for her, you know? But her legacy will continue to live on, y'all. So I just wanted to share that. And now we'll get back to the video. Y'all, can y'all believe that with my palette? I was so happy. And when I opened it up, like, the devastation, I was just like, I don't know, like, did the person just throw it? Like, did she just, like, you know how when in the Titanic, when the lady threw the little blue diamond in the water, like, I just feel like that's how they threw it on the step. Because the way that shade shattered, I was just like, oh my God. I'm thankful that it was like only one shade, but at the same time, I'm like, out of all the shades that could have broken, it was one of the ones that I know everybody would want to see. You know what I'm saying? But at the time that I'm filming this, I have not heard back from Pat McGrath as far as the customer service, but I'm sure they'll make it right. I don't think it was their fault. But I've always had a really good experience with customer service, so I'm hoping it will be the same. I am happy that I was able to salvage the majority of the shade. I'm really thankful for that. And yeah, it was just a little bit of unexpected palette surgery. So anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and start this video off the right way. Hey, good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Kara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Y'all know we are all waiting for our Pat McGrath palettes if you ordered it. And, you know, I was really surprised because I didn't have that shipping confirmation or anything like that. So gonna do a look and swatches today, just first impressions, and we'll definitely be back with another video showing some looks with this palette. So if that's something that you want to see, keep on watching this video. And if you love makeup, it's your therapy, if it makes you happy and it's your escape, and eyeshadow is definitely your favorite thing, definitely consider subscribing and joining the community because I'd love to have you back. and we've already gotten started, so let's just get into it. This is Pat McGrath's Holiday Collection palette. As you know, last year she had the Celestial Divinity palette. Let me grab it really fast. So this is Celestial Divinity. This is the holiday palette from last year. This is this year's palette. As you can see, Celestial Odyssey is a bit bigger and it's a bit thicker, but the main difference is that the Celestial Odyssey palette has more of a luxurious feel. It's a little heavier, and then in the inside you actually have the black lacquer that the Mothership palettes have. Whereas Celestial Divinity is all cardboard, and I think it has less of a luxurious feel to it, but you know, I was okay with that because I have the Motherships. But if this is your only Pat McGrath palette, you know what I mean? You want that Pat McGrath experience, and I think everybody should have that when you're purchasing luxury makeup. Now, this palette was $78, and I was able to get the palette with 10% off. She had the code MEGA10. I'm not sure if that code still works, but it might. This palette has a 12-month shelf life, is made in the USA of US and imported ingredients, and that is the same as last year. So very consistent with that. Okay, the palette has 18 shades. There are a variety of formulas. There's mattes, there's shimmers, there's metallics. There are the 24K duochromes. Like, she has done it all in this palette. If you want to compare both of the palettes really quickly, you can see that Celestial Divinity, I just think, has more of a pinky, kind of purpley type vibe to it, whereas this palette, it has more neutrals in it, and I feel like it's just a lot warmer in my opinion. The pan sizes are the same. Now, there are 4 repeat shades in this palette. I am not exactly sure of which ones, but I do know that I think 3 of them were singles, and then 1 was in the Metamorphosis 6-pan palette. And then this palette had 12 repeat shades because the 2 outer 6 pans here and here are those pans from the Star Wars collection. So again, those of us who had the Star Wars palettes, we really only purchased it to have it all together and then get the 6 new shades. So yeah, I was one of those people. In any case, upon first glance, this palette seems a bit more wearable, and it's really beginner friendly. I was way more excited about this palette than the Utopian Dream palette just because of the variety that can be seen in this palette. So let's just go ahead and get in the swatches and a look. And remember, I will be back in another video with multiple looks that you can do with this palette. When you read the shade names on this palette, just remember that the shade names are displayed as if you're looking at the palette. So you're actually gonna kind of have to go a little back and forth to make sure you are reading them correctly, because the shade name that's on the back is like inverted. It's opposite of the shade that's matching it on the actual palette. All right, so let's get into the swatches. So our first shade is Saturn Sunset, Rose Venus. Pat loves her golds. This is Gold Galaxy. We knew we were gonna get a gold in here somewhere. Noir Moon, which is an iridescent shade, but it really isn't. It kind of reminds me of the new hollow shades that are coming out. And this is a black, but there are rainbow reflex in this. It's a very beautiful shade. And as you'll see in the look I do, you're able to really diffuse this out and use it like a matte. So this is gorgeous. Next up is Bronze Nova. Last on the top row is Nocturne. So this is our top row here. Moving to the middle row, we have Galactic Glow, Sunrose Amber, Lotus Luxe, Lunar Haze, Electrique, and last on the middle row is Heavenly Body. This is what we're working with so far. Such a gorgeous color story, and love the variety of shades that we have thus far. Starting off the third row, we have Bronze Eclipse, Solar Flare, Nirvana, which is one of the ones I think we were all waiting for, Corrupt Copper, Palladium, and last but certainly not least is Citrine Envy. So here is Celestial Odyssey. How beautiful is this palette? I think there's a little something for everyone in here. Okay, y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the look, and then I'll be back just with my first impression of this beauty right here. I'll be right back. All right, y'all, we are gonna get into, let me move this lotion, the first look with Celestial Odyssey. And these shade names are backwards, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm gonna start today with Sunrose Amber. I think that's correct, which is just a little transitional brown shade. Now today I am back to my Glam Light Icing Primer. It is a little cooler, so I'm thinking that this primer will be okay for today. Oh, this is pretty. So if you are new to Pat McGrath, her mattes are just highly blendable, as you can see. And I love how you can diffuse them out, because when I first put this shade on, you know, it was, to me, it looked a bit darker, but I just love how easily they diffuse out. It's just, they blend out really, really nicely. So I am going to stop here with this shade. Now next, I want to go into the shade Noir Moon, which is this one. Now I know this one is supposed to be iridescent, but it is a very pigmented shade. And this is gonna be my crease shade. And even though it is a shimmer, you know, if this is her consistent formula, it's gonna blend just as well as a matte would blend in the crease. And I think you can see that that is happening. It's sparkly, but you know, it is working like a black matte. Now we'll go back with a clean brush and try to merge these two shades together just a little bit more. So just taking a fluffy Sigma brush and just blending the two shades together. And that's what we're working with. Now I would like to go into the shade Nirvana. So that's this deep blue green. I'm gonna just go ahead and use my finger. It's very pretty and foiled metallic. Look at that, y'all. And we need a shade for the lower lash line. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna go back in with Sunrose Amber and put that on the lower lash line. And for our inner corner highlight, let's go into Citrine Envy and put that right in the inner corner. Still being very careful with this shade because I did, you know, repress it in, but it's still very, very soft. That is so pretty in the inner corner. And just to try another shade out, I want to go into Why was I about to call it Copper Feel? Shade. There's a palette with a shade called Copper Feel. Oh, I think that's a single I bought recently. Let's go into Corrupt Copper. I like Copper Feel though. That's a good name. Just to do a little something extra under here. Now, the next time I do a look with this palette, I probably will spray these shades. They are a bit sparkly, so, you know, I may have a little bit of fallout on my face, but that's okay. All right, I do like this look. So here's the look, you guys. And as per usual, I'll be back with my liner and mascara, and then that's it, I'll be back. All right, you guys, so here is the overall look. I just used a black eyeliner. It was an Urban Decay one that came from the Game of Thrones collection. It's black, but I really wanted to do a black eyeliner with this look. And I think this is so pretty. I like it a lot, and I'm excited about just the possibilities of what can be done with this palette. So my first impressions are that I think that this is going to be a more wearable color story than Celestial Divinity. I think that they're less pink, they're less pinky purple. And, you know, for those of us that purchased Celestial Divinity and had those Star Wars palettes, we really only purchased the Celestial Divinity for the 6 new shades that were there. And I don't even know if those were the standouts of that palette. But with this palette, even though it has some repeats, I think I only have 1 of the repeat shades because the other ones were singles. So this color story appeals to me more just because my eyeshadow taste has started to change, and I have been really loving more neutral looks. So this is right up my alley, but you can go glam, you can go soft, you know, and then you have these pops of color here that I really do like. I think the quality of this palette as far as the packaging is better because you do have the lacquer in here and you get more of that Pat McGrath luxury experience, whereas not that I had an issue with it, but Celestial Divinity was, you know, all cardboard. And I think if this is your only Pat McGrath palette, you want the Pat McGrath experience. And I like that she was able to give that for the same price. I think that was great. I think that's all I have to say as far as first impressions. And I am gonna come back and do like a 3 looks video with this palette. But, you know, I really did want to get this video up as soon as possible, and so you all can see it and decide whether or not it's something that you would be interested in. So that's it, y'all. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me today. You know, y'all mean a lot to me, and this really is therapy for me. So I do hope that it's the same for you. And until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Block your